Draupadi, the most beautiful princess in Bharatavarsha, was about to choose her husband, and every great king and warrior believed he was worthy of her hand. Hello dear viewers, welcome back to Katha Yogam. In the previous episode, Chitraratha narrated the ancient story of Tapati and King Samvarna, the tale that gave rise to the mighty Kuru dynasty. As dawn arrived, the Pandavas continued their journey towards Panchala. But they were not the only ones heading there. From every kingdom, kings, princes and warriors were gathering for the Swayamvara of Draupadi. And hidden among them, dressed as simple Brahmanas, the sons of Pandu quietly stepped towards the turning point of their destiny.
Please take a moment of your precious time to subscribe to our channel. It costs you nothing, but your support will help us bring more captivating stories from the treasure trove of Indian epics to you.
Vaishampayana continued his narration in the court of Janamejaya. He described how, after completing their journey, the Pandavas finally reached the kingdom of Panchala. The capital city of Kampilya was filled with excitement. Roads were decorated with banners and flowers. Markets overflowed with visitors from distant lands. Everywhere, people spoke about the Swayamvara of Draupadi and the difficult challenge prepared by King Drupada. Kings, princes, warriors, brahmanas, merchants and travelers had gathered from across Bharatavarsha. The entire city seemed to be waiting for a great moment. The Pandavas entered quietly among the crowds, still dressed in the robes of brahmanas. No one recognized them. Not wishing to attract attention, the Pandavas searched for a humble place to stay within the city. At last, they found shelter in the house of a potter. There, they stayed quietly with Kunti, living simply and continuing to hide their true identity. Meanwhile, King Drupada made grand arrangements for Draupadi's Swayamvara. A great arena had been prepared for the ceremony. At its center stood a massive bow. High above, a revolving target had been placed in motion. Below it rested a vessel filled with water. The challenge was not merely to strike the target. The warrior would first need to lift and string the heavy bow. Then look only at the reflection in the water below and strike the moving target above without looking at it directly. It was a test not only of strength but also of focus, patience and extraordinary skill. Only the greatest of archers could hope to succeed. Drupada watched these preparations carefully. Though many kings had gathered, deep within his heart remained a single wish. He still hoped that Arjuna was alive, and he wished to see his daughter married to none other than him. As the day of the Swayamvara approached, powerful rulers from across the land arrived in Panchala. Among them were Duryodhana and his brothers. Karna, the mighty king of Anga, also arrived. So did Shalya, Shishupala, Jarasandha and many other renowned warriors. Each came with the hope of winning Draupadi's hand. The arena slowly filled with pride, ambition and rivalry. Each king believed himself worthy of victory. Among those who arrived in Panchala were Krishna and his elder brother Balarama. The presence of Krishna drew attention wherever he went. Calm and radiant, he carried a quiet majesty that seemed beyond ordinary royalty. Though he walked among kings as a prince of the Yadavas, there was something in him that few could fully understand. Some saw a wise prince, some saw a master of politics. Others saw a divine being hidden in human form. As Krishna entered the gathering, his eyes moved across the great arena and the countless warriors assembled there. Then his gaze fell upon a group of Brahmanas seated quietly among the crowd. Though dressed in simple robes, something about them stood apart. Their posture, their strength, and the confidence in their faces did not belong to ordinary Brahmanas. Krishna immediately understood the truth. The Pandavas were alive. But he revealed nothing to the others. Instead, he silently waited and watched. At last, the moment of the Swayamvara arrived. The great arena filled with thousands of spectators. Then Draupadi entered the assembly. A deep silence spread across the gathering. Born from sacred fire, Draupadi seemed to shine with a beauty unlike any other. Clad in fine garments and ornaments, she walked gracefully beside her brother Drishtadyumna. The eyes of the gathered kings followed her with admiration. Standing before the assembly, Drishtadyumna announced the rules of the contest. The warrior who wished to win Draupadi's hand would need to control the great bow, gaze only into the reflection below, and strike the revolving target high above. It was a challenge designed to test not just strength, but perfect focus and unmatched skill in archery. At those words, excitement spread across the arena, and the contest had begun. One after another, the assembled kings and princes stepped forward. Each hoped to win the hand of Draupadi. They approached the mighty bow with all the strength and skill they had gained through years of warfare. But the bow refused to yield. As they struggled to string it, some were hurled backward by its immense force and crashed onto the ground before the gathered assembly. For a few moments, they lay stunned and motionless. Their crowns had slipped, their flower garlands were scattered, and their ornaments hung loose. Breathing heavily, they slowly rose to their feet, their pride shaken and their hopes of winning Draupadi slipping away. Duryodhana, Shishupala, Shalya, Jarasandha, and many other renowned kings had all failed before the mighty bow. Yet it remained unmoved, waiting for the warrior destiny had chosen. At last, Karna rose from his seat. A murmur spread through the gathering. Unlike the others, Karna moved toward the bow with complete confidence. His strength was known across the land, and many believed he alone could succeed. Even the kings who had failed watched him carefully. Karna lifted the bow with ease. For a moment, it seemed the challenge was already won. But before he could continue, Draupadi stopped him. She declared that she would not marry the son of a charioteer. The words struck the arena like a sudden storm. Karna stood silent for a moment. Then, without showing anger or arguing, he stepped away from the contest. But the humiliation remained deep within his heart, and one day he would find an opportunity to return that insult. As mighty kings failed one after another, the gathered crowd began losing hope. No warrior had succeeded, but seated quietly among the Brahmanas was Arjuna. Calm and silent, he had watched every attempt carefully. Beside him, Bhima sat with growing excitement. The time for hiding seemed to be slowly coming to an end, and in the center of the arena, the great bow still waited for the warrior destined to wield it. The greatest kings of Bharatavarsha had failed. Karna had stepped away from the contest, and now, from among the gathered Brahmanas, a single warrior is about to rise. How will Arjuna succeed where all others have failed? And what will happen when the world discovers that the Pandavas are still alive? Find out in the next episode where Arjuna wins Draupadi.
If you appreciate our work, please like and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we upload a new episode.